It's another beautiful Friday morning, and I'm going to wait to let my anti-usualist guest number one greet you in that special way that we normally do at Souq News Television. This time is Souq Business Landscape, where we look at headlines from across the world. I want to say good morning to you from across there. And before I introduce my guests, hope you're having a lovely Friday. Although our weekend starts on Thursday, we'll talk headlines across the world of business, specialized headlines actually. With me today, my specially handpicked anti-usualist analyst, Dr. Idahosa Osamanze. Welcome to the show.
Ikena, good Nigeria.
Good Nigeria. There it is.
Lagos, good Nigeria.
The world, good Nigeria as well. And let's not forget, we got CJR. Chooks, John Rogers in the building.
Good morning. Good morning. It's Friday, and we say welcome to Souq News. And at a point, I thought you were rapping. Specialists, anti-usualists, analysts. Okay, well, it's still Souq News, and let's do the do.
Let's do it. I like how you sound and feel bright. I like it.
Yes.
Unlike on Wednesday.
Something in the offing.
Right?
I guess that.
You want to give us a sneak preview?
Nah, I didn't go out with you last night. That's why I'm doing
All right, it's a joyful day here, as usual, every day at Souq News Television. So we jump right to it. Business Day. MTN, Airtel, FX induced 511 billion naira loss, masks stellar quarter one performance. Now, so how is there a stellar performance yet there's a 511 billion naira loss?
It's just simple. Whatever the gain was, the weakening of the Naira took it away. You made about, take for example, made a profit of about 101 billion. And then you calculate what was lost via the weakening of the Naira, about 118. So the very beautiful performance was wiped off by the instability of the Naira. And this is one thing that, of course, we should really have to work on. Because if you don't have this macroeconomic stability, nobody will be attracted to come do business in your space. Because if you are making money, then of course you are losing it. By the time you are converting to the forex, all that you think you've gained is gone. So CBN need to work hard, really.
Doc, how long are we going to deal with these FX-induced problems as they affect the economy and businesses?
Yeah, it shouldn't really be too long because there are quick measures that can really happen if we do things right. Number one, I feel that, for example, Nigerians have no business to be importing food at the moment. We don't have any business. We've been talking and talking and talking. There are some fruit crops that take about 3-4 months from planting to harvesting. So if we have started in January, by now we should have even food to sell. That's number one. Number two, we need to discourage the mass exodus of Nigerian youth to go abroad to school. And that required that the Federal Ministry of Education, especially the Minister of Education, must look into what is happening in our educational system. Ensure that there is standard and quality so that other people taking their children abroad to go to school, we can build world-class institutions in Nigeria.
But Doc, we've been saying this forever and a day.
Yes, but because there have not been any significant step taken by those who are responsible to get these things working. So when you have a school system that is not working, school resumes, 3 weeks after resumption, classes are yet to start. Not many parents will be able to accommodate or get their children into this system. A term that's supposed to run for 3 months or a semester that's supposed to run for 3 or 4 months major part of that semester, there's no classes going on. And at the end of the semester, you are giving children exams to write. So they can't really get quality out of the system. So this is why a lot of people are motivated to say, oh, well, let's go to where things work. When they say school resumes today, tomorrow class starts. But never like that here in this environment. These are the real things that we need to fix. How do we ensure that teachers are doing what they should do, lecturers are doing what they should do in school?
Even qualified.
Yes, of course, this is it. So quality of research. These are the things. We must sanitize our system so that all this rush for money, for dollar, to go do something outside, we
Stay
need them.
in-house.
And once we can have that happen and there's no pressure on dollar, Naira will be stable. So the only way to stable Naira is productivity. So Nigeria must begin to eat what they produce and produce what they eat, like our former president would say.
You know, it brings to mind when the other day I heard a little boy using the word Tisha, and that's what he heard in school. He said that's what his auntie calls it. And the mom was like, don't you ever, it's teacher, not Tisha. You know, these are the things we're dealing with.
Yeah, but look at it. Sorry that we have to take some swipe on the education system, really. How do we process people who teach?
Good question. And
We use the worst of our brain
who is doing the processing?
as teachers. Whereas in other time, the best of their brain become teachers.
Correct.
If you want to become a professional teacher, you go to College of Education. In JAM, if you can score up to 200, they push you to Polytechnic. If you score much lower, they push you to College of Education. So, which means by design, we don't even want to have good heads as teachers.
Mm.
So, a lot of people who find themselves in the education circle are there by accident. It's not because they have a love for teaching. So, it's like societal jets becoming the people driving the education system. That's why you have a whole lot of what I call it now, people who are not happy with themselves.
Their jobs.
They're not happy with what they're doing,
Life
and they transfer those aggression
to the children.
on the children as if they are responsible for their predicament. So you have such people, so many in our institutions of learning. And this is why, of course, the initiative of the child is not required. Because if you tell the teacher that this is wrong, his ego is bruised
It's a problem.
and don't want you to speak out. So these are fundamental issues. And this is where, of course, the Ministry of Education need to really wake up. I remember some years ago, about a few years ago, when in Kaduna State, L5 had to set a Pram 4 exam test for their teachers.
They did bad.
And so many of them failed that exam. And you know, people were crucifying him. So if you are teaching somebody in primary 6 and they set a primary 4 question for you and you cannot pass, but also you want to sack people from work. What are they doing in work if they are not improving? They are not developing themselves. So these are for me the real issues that we need to fix. We need to fix our education system. We need to fix our healthcare. Business going to outside of Nigeria to go and look for medications. The hospital structures are here. So what will it take to bring technology into this environment so that we can have good laboratories to process this? So these are the real issues, and this is what government really need to do. So invest in the education system, invest in healthcare, and ensure that there's also an enabling environment for credit so that people who want to do business can have access to money to do business. If all this is done, you will find that the nation will be fixed.
I think Chukzon Rogers has a contrary opinion because I can see his body language. I read clearly. Look, speak it.
I was just wondering, when did we leave newspapers? It's just the issues in the country.
But
We need to
at
talk.
the end of
We
the
need
day,
to
from
talk.
what Doc was saying
We need
is,
to talk.
if we put all these things in place, then we would begin to maximize our profits,
Yes,
and not lose money like this.
For MTN brought us here. Good.
Yes.
Now,
And Airtel.
MTN, Airtel, Glow. Let's not forget them, and those that have come and gone. Then those. Let's also remember MTEL, MTEL with some Southeast. Now, the truth is,
I said, I knew you had contrary opinions.
for MTN losing money, you have business people in your place. So when you were making those particular profit, you didn't share with us. So now you're losing, you're telling us. But you have those particular business people and you made this particular profit. I think, in just my thought, that point between making the money and the FX issue, you could have hedged it somewhere. So
Where are you going to hedge it? There's dollar again.
there's gold. They could have hedged it somewhere. So
where's the gold?
It's there, sir.
Since when did you start to do gold business?
No. It's an open market. They can hedge it.
The real issue is that most of these losses you find is not really an asset, even in terms of operational financing. So what you are having is to see that if you have to go to market today to go get something, what a Naira would have bought for you today, tomorrow changes. And this fluctuation is not, you see, if it's money that you have and you say, oh, this is for saving and I want to keep it for some time, then you can hedge it. But it's not the money that you're using to do your everyday business, so that you cannot hedge. So the only way to hedge it is to put it in your domiciliary account. Maybe when the Naira falls, you go and sell some more. So that, of course, will naturally destabilize the Naira.
Correct.
So the real issue here is that we need to create the right macroeconomic environment to run, so that this fluctuation that happens between Naira or the rush that people have for dollars can really go down. We have businessmen. If we can go to China and give them a mold to produce things for us, we can begin to encourage China to come set up the factory here.
Exactly.
So all these things will reduce the pressure on Naira. And so if Naira is stable, a lot can go well. I'm able to say here, since the 2000, I've been traveling to the UAE up to now. Dollar to dirham has always been 3.64, 3.65.
Doesn't go beyond, doesn't fall below.
It has never gone beyond.
At what point in time can Nigerians say, if you are there in that particular place handling the economy and you're not doing well, after 6 months, sack the person? That is where we should get to.
Yeah, but this is it, because a lot of people, we have a lot of excuses why things should not work.
Because we are tolerating the excuses.
We have a lot of excuses. People have a lot of excuses why they feel things should not work. And this is where we are, really. So I feel for such losses, and you're expecting that you need more foreign direct investment into your economy.
How will they come?
They won't come. So you have to create that macroeconomic environment that's stable, that people understand that if I bring in money here, the values are all the same. And not that it's okay, I'm going to bring in something from, even spare parts we're going to bring from the outside to run even your local factory. They're going to be purchased in dollars. So what happens is that prices are not stable all across time. And the worst of it is that income remains stable.
Exactly.
So the purchasing power of the people keep depleting on a daily basis.
Can we have another talk after this, based on what you just
said? I don't have idea.
Okay.
Definitely. Okay. Most definitely. Businesses pay, still on business day, businesses pay 23% more in import duties on volatile Naira. So importers seem to be one of the major ways that money will continue to be made if there's a need to be. So it's gone up 23%. And is it a way that importers are being punished?
No, it's not punishment. It's still the same thing Doc is talking about. Exactly the same thing. The same thing happening to MTN is the same thing that's happening to the importers. Because when they were importing, okay, when I buy, cargo is coming down this way. The first time when that business was initiated, dollar was 800. By the time the thing gets to here, dollar is 1,004. Custom is not going to wait and take it at 800. They have to go by the dollar rate. So everything is just that same fluctuation. So it affects everybody. Now, this is another point people need to note. Sometimes they say, why is the woman in the market increasing her gari? The woman in the market is also going to the market to buy things for her kids. Shoes.
Akara woman tells you that it's dollar.
No, hold on.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's a ripple effect.
Exactly. It's
It's a
affecting
ripple
everybody.
effect.
I understand that. But where does it get to that point where it's gone up due to FX instability? So how does it come? When do you bring it down? When it stabilizes? Because it doesn't seem to come down.
So that is
It
where
doesn't come down ever, Doc.
that is where the what's it called, Protection Council needs to come in. But right now we don't know the people that are there. So when we say if you are not working, fire the person, we should also start having that kind of communication, that kind of conversation on daily basis. If this minister is not working, Oga,
Yeah,
sack him.
but there's something that also we would need to also factor into this conversation. Yeah, from the point of view of a business person. So if I go to the market, for example, and I'm expecting that there's going to be a price increase, I take some stock. Yeah. So even if the increase really didn't happen as I speculated, I've already bought the stock. So price is coming down. I already have a stock in the warehouse that I'm spending. And of course, I'm going to sell it at the price that I bought. So this is also the thinking of a business person. So you are looking at it that if I bought this thing for 20 naira, and now price is 18 naira, I can't automatically drop my price
To 18. It's a
because
loss.
I'll be still making some losses. And you are not even sure whether it's going to be stable.
It might go down further.
Yeah, it can go down, it can go up. So is this frustration that we really need to deal with? So if we have stability, a lot will go right.
You can predict.
This area of government taking so much money. I read yesterday, Share says they paid about 1 billion in tax
Well,
last year.
Who paid?
Share.
That is not enough.
No. Let's say
That
it's
is nothing.
Let's say it is not enough. The point I'm trying to make is that the biggest refinery, single train refinery in Africa, built by Dangote, $20 billion. If we have 10 billion, we can build half the Dangote refinery. So in that case, we are not bringing in fuel from outside. We produce the fuel locally. And
Do we even have a reason for?
and the chunk of foreign exchange that also goes through that window, we can save it.
a lot.
So rather than treat symptom,
Root.
which is what the managers of the economy seems to be doing at the moment, I think the focus and emphasis should be on doing a root cause analysis. How did we get here?
Doc, you know we've been saying this thing for years, for eons, for decades even.
Which one? How did we get here?
Same is same. Yes. Root cause analysis. How did we get here? What do we have to do? And you're talking about firing. How many can you fire?
You see, this is now where the thing is. If there is cause and repercussion, people will sit up.
Correct. I agree.
Choices and the consequences that come with it, people will sit up. But because, it's my party man,
He's my brother.
Doc will say political consideration.
Yeah, that is what it is always. My friend was telling me that the closest way to get to prison in Rwanda is to be a minister of government,
The minister of.
to be a minister in the cabinet.
Because if you don't work, you're going
That's
to jail.
your shortest route to prison.
And it's Rwanda. You know,
Yeah,
I always like to say just Rwanda when those things pop up.
So the shortest cut to prison is to accept to serve as a minister
And you don't
in Rwanda.
And you don't do your work.
So you just wait, maybe 5 months, 6 months, you are behind bars. As sort of a serving minister who is doing about 70 years imprisonment.
That will be a VIP facility.
There's no fear.
Even if
Everybody
it's
is in the same
VIP,
place.
you're in isolation. Think about what you've done.
In the same place. And this happened from time to time. So when you are going in there, you know that you are in for a serious business.
Correct.
Because you know that at the end of the day, it's either you are in sell or you are being celebrated.
No sitting on the fence. Still on good news, still on business day. Health tech startup beats local lending hurdles with overseas funding. Health Cap is their name. $100 million is the game. It's amazing how the tech startups, in fact, all the startups basically, the startups are getting funding from outside. I could name a few, and isn't this the place where government should be playing big? Because if it's about the money to fund these startups, it's available. Why are they not channeling it in those directions? We know
Well,
we saw what happened
well-
with the Paystack boys. You know,
Mhm.
it's all coming from outside.
Yes, it's just like we always say, the world is closing up. Those gaps are closing up. People are investing in what they see as profitable, and startups, fintechs, tech-based startups, not just them. Some also local-based startups. People outside this country are seeing profitability and longevity. You are seeing that yes, this can work. So where the money comes from is not an issue. I even prefer that the money is coming from outside. Let's have those effects coming down here, and this startup serving not just Africans or Nigerians, but also serving people outside, because most of them end up as apps. So wherever you are, you can use it. So I prefer that these monies are even coming from outside. So we are not depending on Dangote refinery to give us FX, or depending on one name, one somewhere to sell something. So everybody should
One of the government
get production.
initiatives.
These are the kind of productivity we want. But this is big. But if I can have, let's say, 200 of them in a month, I don't think Tinubu will complain. So he can easily sack any minister without fear or favor. Then maybe political considerations will now get some.
I wish that someday we will be able to overcome these things. But this is a very big issue. But again, what does this say to us? That if you have a good idea and then you have put them and package it very well, people see that there are wind opportunities for profiteering. A lot of people put money into it. So these also encourage so many enterprising young Nigerians to put on their thinking cap,
Do the work.
because there are a whole lot of people with money elsewhere who are looking for ideas, who are looking for visions to fund. So we don't just need to fold our hands akimbo and then be thinking that help only come from government. The small God, God, the government of the day. That
Miracle alert.
help can also come from abroad if you package your idea very well. And I think this is what you're seeing here. And people look at it, this seems it will work. We cannot overemphasize drawing up a business plan with a proper cash flow with it, and people can see and see, can I put money here? If I put money here,
see
will
the
there be a
viability.
return? Yes, of course. Once those are done and you do your due diligence and your feasibility, a lot of people will be interested. So funds still coming in area, especially in healthcare area that is in Nigeria, that's a very serious challenge.
Have a lot of
And
space.
we need such funding even into the educational sector. A challenge again to some of our professors.
Are you looking at the educational sector or business? People are putting money in business, so they need to turn that educational sector to a business.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Research-based.
Yeah, this is health we're talking about. It's supposed to be a social service, but people are investing in it. So we need a lot of people who also will invest in our education system.
Right.
We need our professors to up their games, to begin to get grants and aids that are lying fallow everywhere for research, to develop our institutions.
Not just research, not papers to get extra qualification.
No.
Research that will go to industry.
Of course, that's what I mean. Industry-based research. And then, of course, you find global corporations setting up chairs in your university to do specific research that will, of course, be industry relevant. And then you see money coming in. And then the educational system opens up. And we can begin to also receive foreign students like we used to do in the 1970s and the 1980s. not the other way around now that we are having a lot of mass exodus of people going to even places that have no schools to go and do university education. So we need to get our professor to sit up, not just this regular strike that we do and say increase our salary. Let them begin to attract fund into the university system. And this is a kind of a thing that, of course, that's quite really heartwarming. They see people believing in your idea and they are investing in what you do.
Yeah, I always like it when you say some things and stand by it. When you say places that have no schools, were you referring to Benin Republic?
I don't have idea.
But it's amazing where someone has gone to XYZ university and you take you use a pair of binoculars to look and search, and you can't even tell where the school is, if it's a school. And so many times they say it's just one floor in a building and it's the university.
Yeah, they don't have light.
With a lot of packaging.
Well, on to Financial Times. Anglos investors in South Africa open to sweetened takeover from BHP. Australian miner bid 30 billion euros. ANC minister negative on deals. Shareholders defy government. What's going on?
It's a hostile takeover. That's what's going on.
Businesses are fighting governments. Governments are fighting businesses. Is money king?
Well, people see profit. Conglomerates see profit. Those up there see profit. Now, it now depends on who is benefiting.
You don't see your brother. You don't see the masses. You don't see the people.
No, they don't count when it comes to that level. And for South African mining industry, through history, we've seen how that particular sector is.
Yeah.
And who takes care of who takes care of. But it's an industry that has come out of appetite, but it has not really been pulled out of out of that hole.
Still lurking in the corners.
The country right now needs money.
Yeah, but
these people also need
this
money.
is even the real issue.
So who is in their favor?
And this is a problem that, of course, government all across the globe will need to do. I keep saying it here, where you're seeing global governments with debt up to their neck. They're all in areas where they should not be. Government are supposed to be facilitators and not controller.
Enablers.
Yes, that's what the name is. You enable business to grow, not to constrain businesses. And this is the kind of things that you're seeing in here, because government is looking for how much money you can pull out from the businesses. So a lot of people will want to take a shortcut to get out of some of all these things. So people are looking for deals here and there so that they can strike and get some cut off something. But you see, over-regulation is not good for any economy, for that matter. And this is what we are seeing. This is even what is really making African businesses not to thrive. That's what is making the businesses in Africa not to attract investors from outside, because we are over-regulated. Too many agencies of government. And you're seeing businesses bleeding on every side. And this will not make for this opportunity that we're all craving. So we sit down at government's house. All we are thinking is, what new tax can we introduce? What new levy can we take? Because government is carrying a burden that is more than it. And I really wish that African, for example,
how can some of these burdens be shared?
Yes, no. They can begin to drive lean governments.
Apart from overspending, Doc.
Yeah.
How can the burden be shared? You shared it to give.
You see, the issue here is simple. There are a lot of things that private sector can drive in the form of CSR that is enabled in laws by government to say, yes, you're making such profit in here. Now, as this profit is in here, direct it toward this direction. If you're making profit in here, direct it towards this direction. So that reduces a lot of burden from government. But what you see is that government says, oh, bring the money to us. And then you bring the money to government. But because the size of the government is too large, the money does not get to the people. So we use it and spend it on administrative issues. So this is a problem. So even if you budget 200 billion in Ministry of Works, you can't see it on the road because we use it to pay overhead for the people who are working in the ministry. So sometimes you ask yourself, what are they really doing in the Ministry of Work that will have such large number of people, engineer recruited, there's no tractor to grade the road, and pay such huge overhead. You're having huge burden of people in the Ministry of Agriculture. They are not extension workers. They resume every day in an office. They don't produce a grain of corn. Then you budget 300 billion in that ministry.
And they'll spend it all.
This is what we need to address. So if you cut down the size of government, really, of course, there'll be not too much pressure on government and businesses. And as businesses are making profit, they'll be expanding. And they are expanding, they'll be taking away the social trouble in society, which is unemployment, crime, and the rest of it that are associated with it. So government should be facilitators and enablers, not controllers. So excessive regulation in Africa is a big problem. And I think that's one thing that we must have to deal with from government perspective.
Enabling and not stifling the people. So this story is tucked away on page 6. I had to find it out because I wanted us to talk about this. No one know how far AI will boost growth. Now, many are saying that we must not underestimate how much AI will affect jobs starting from 2024 this year to 2030. Like AI is coming to disrupt everything like we know it.
When people say AI is
Are
coming,
we ready for it?
When people say AI is coming, it's human development. It's not as if maybe it's an alien from Mars or someone that just woke up from Iselangwa and decides to take over things. It's human development. It's tech. It's science. It's aggregation of information. So let's get it right. It's aggregation of information, aggregation of data in one particular server or in one particular system or in one particular app that answers questions that you normally take at work. So now it doesn't matter what the work is. There is an app, there is a server, there is a robot. It depends on what form it is that takes over that job and gets to do it. Now we are getting better at it. Now is progressing at a rate that, for me, it needs a whole lot of caution and control. For those that are not improving or getting themselves ready for 2024 and beyond, if you're not doing buying and selling or producing a product that you're bringing to the market, sorry, you won't have a job. Because let's tell ourselves some basic truth.
Correct.
If it's all about clerical services for you, or you're
playing it safe,
sorry, your job is gone. If you are a farmer, thank you very much. Get better at it. Everybody needs to get busy and produce a product, because if it goes beyond that, there is absolutely nothing AI will not do. Down to surgery, because that is happening already.
So doctors are going to
but this is the real issue. Is also see how we embrace change in society. AI is a reality that cannot be wished away. So when, of course, the world sit down today discussing generative AI, is to also understand what nations should be doing. In 2024 budget alone, Singapore, Japan invested billions of dollars to train 40 years and above.
40 and above.
Yes.
Those that have rusty brain.
who were born outside of
Yes.
the internet age.
Says what? Rusty.
So they're emphasizing that they need to be retrained to fit into the new job roles
If not,
that AI is generating. Otherwise, you see people will be retiring at 40 because they have nothing to do.
It'll be redundant.
So this is the real challenge for most of African countries, because we cannot wish away AI. It's a product. We don't need to beg bribe for it to get into our space. It's here already.
are people actually wishing away AI?
AI is already creating movies,
Music.
writing scripts.
People are complaining. The creative industry.
Now is writing music and all this is happening. So it's a reality that is dawning on us as a world. So there's really nothing that you can think about today that is not within that sphere. Now the question is, how do we embrace this technology? Because behind the AI are also a number of works that is being generated.
True.
How do we redirect the mind of our people? How is our schools, our educational institution, preparing the children, taking advantage of this AI? I was sharing with somebody yesterday. I said, when, of course, computer goes very far in the West, and they were producing already mini computers and the rest of it in our universities, those who were studying computer science were studying for Trans 77.
Oh, Lord.
So we must find a way to see how we integrate some of all these things into our curriculum so that we can prepare people for tomorrow's work.
So people must begin to see that it's not a loss.
It's not a loss. Yes, of course, it's going to create a loss, but also it's also creating a lot of work. So there is a lot of gap in that industry.
That needs to be filled.
When you say it's going to create a loss, I don't understand. How is
Yeah, but because what you mean is that the traditional and conventional way people do work won't be there. And those who have not adjusted will not be able to fit in. So you see people losing jobs because they can't fit into the new technology. So if I have an AI who is going to a robot to do the production of this show this morning, do I need to employ more human beings to do it? You don't need. So, but what the role of the humans now is how they have to cooperate with the AI to deliver value. Now, if there is nobody with such technology or such know-how, then the person go back home.
Okay, you mean you've been thinking of how to get AI to do my job?
As a matter of fact, it pays me well.
Okay. Now, for those that are out there, it is an aggregation of data, aggregation of knowledge, and it's already here. We can't wish it away. For those that are scared, this is things that we get to see maybe in public service. You think that the government doesn't owe you jack. It is your responsibility to add your quota to government. It's your responsibility to get better at your job. It's your responsibility to get knowledge. For those that are Christians, this is the knowledge age. And that is what is going to rule. If you don't join the wagon, you watch others go.
Please tell them it's not Antichrist.
And
it's just knowledge.
It's not
it's not Antichrist.
It's not 666.
Please, for our men of God, it doesn't matter the divide, Muslim, Christian, traditional ruler, wherever you find yourself. Let's start preaching productivity and responsibility in our places of worship. Thank you.
We could never overemphasize this. Productivity. We could never overemphasize it. So that's it on the show today. Thank you to my anti-usualist analysts, always, Dr. Osamanze and Chooks John Rogers. We've come to the end. My name is Ikenna Mba. See you same time on Monday. Have a lovely weekend.